Yet if we makwa daily update TV, best of send number channel so mobile hit and the member subscribe or mobile like cash ma wana. Pen semi be 8 years so and be 80 mesum say mobile jamre near daje near Boromon tentem near Kuti in Semana de Echego. Etie for a year Mahama 24-hour economy no and 9 day reporter in Saka say Okusia CEO or in Ghana. Kesi a manufono leader for Modeda company for nano and also omo baby nyumano na Okusia or more and more discussing about the 24-hour economy. Kwaya ombefa so implemented coming 2024 so nyame na dom na ubenya franka 24 no anase ubiye oma ampanya eno no de insem bebre atutu dwana mesem se yebeje mre ne adaje ne bodo mu ntentem ne akotie insema John Doman Mahama so do atudwa yeba yenso de ka ho bia no yenso yebeba.
For GRA to even release this statement, they are confirming and telling Ghanaians. So this is basically GRA telling Ghanaians that John Mahama Asamna Okano, it is possible. John Mahama Asamna Okano, it is possible. If you're a Ghanaian today watching me, even the institutions that are under this government are telling you, say, be smart. If somebody said 24 hours, we can implement it. That means the person is proposing something very good. So let's not take the John Mahama 24-hour economy project or proposal as a cheap thing. No, it is the game changer. And it's not. So Obi Biena no as an economist can say a bad idea or he does not understand the economics. He is just a flamboyant, a proponent, exponent economist. Until fundamentals nasi. Now let me show you why the 24-hour economy is important and the reason why a national development was say you stick to it. Yesterday, John Mahama met CEOs in Ghana and he insisted and reiterated that Ghana at this point we need a 24-hour economy. And the reason is that our national development plan, which is a 40-year plan, we need to work within that. I hope I can get this video for you before I go through.
My brothers and sisters, there will be no limit to the sectors the 24-hour economy initiative will target, and the benefits, I can assure you, will be enormous. As a young child, I worked 3-hour shifts. When my father was a business person in the north, he was the largest commercial rice farmer and owned a rice processing plant. And I used to do day shift and do night shifts. We can do it again. Through the 24-hour economy, we will create new, decent, and well-paying jobs for our youth, reduce unemployment, which is a significant challenge, and improve the living standards of Ghanaians. Also, the expanded range of operating or working hours will increase productivity and fully utilize all resources, including infrastructure. The 24-hour economy will provide greater flexibility and convenience for workers and allow citizens to access goods and services at any time of the day. We will improve infrastructure, lighting and security at all entertainment districts, such as Osu Oxford Street, Abekala Pass, East Legon, Lagos Avenue, etc., to allow operations throughout the night. Consider hospitality, transportation and security, including a well-regulated and monitored private security establishment. Chief executives, business owners, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot continue the business as usual way of doing things. We need to think outside the box. We must enhance efficiency by optimizing available resources, including infrastructure and human resources. Ghana must work more efficiently. The restless quest for efficiency to solve our financial and unemployment problems is why I have emphasized that more than the traditional and regular methods of economic activity would be needed to revitalize this economy. My next administration, inshallah, will pursue projects and programs to transform Ghana into a fully fledged 24-hour economy by optimizing available resources. I acknowledge the massive support for the idea of a 24-hour economy by the Trade Union Congress, civil society organizations, journalists, lecturers, labor consultants, CEOs, and captains of industry, personnel from the creative arts industry, drivers, traders, and the teeming unemployed youth of Ghana. God willing, from 7th January 2025, we shall implement a series of transition measures to address the economic decline and set Ghana on the path to recovery. The proposed 24-hour economy forms a part of NDC's vision to build the Ghana we want together. And let me reiterate that our quest to build the Ghana we want together with you will be premised on 1, building an industrialized, inclusive, and resilient economy that creates well-paying jobs, creating an equitable, healthy, and prosperous nation, developing well-planned, safe communities while protecting the natural environment, building efficient and dynamic institutions for national development, and strengthening Ghana's role in African and international affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, the 24-hour economy may have finally resonated with Ghanaians. It may be classified as an idea whose time has come due to Ghana's self-inflicted economic crisis today, because the 24-hour economy initiative has been well thought through and was captured on page 105 of the NDC's 2020 People's Manifesto. Indeed, its roots emanate from the 40-year National Development Plan that was developed by the National Development Planning Commission, which was put together when I was president of this country. Unfortunately, the present government discarded the 40-year development plan and replaced it with a Ghana Beyond Aid plan that has rather turned Ghana into a beggar nation. Stripped to the essentials, ladies and gentlemen, the 24-hour policy will be anchored as an economy that runs around the clock with a 3-shift work schedule in many sectors. The intent is to transform Ghana into first a self-sufficient and then an export-led economy. To be clear, we are not creating a command economy with centralized planning that would be at variance with our social democratic principles as a party. Specifically, 1, we will combine government support and private sector involvement to realize the 24-hour economy. We'll establish a comprehensive policy framework that supports the growth of a 24-hour economy. Legislation will be introduced to support businesses operating 24/7, including looking at the labor laws, tax incentives, and regulations that ensure workers' rights are protected. Favorable tax policies will be adopted so that businesses can reduce their operational costs and stay competitive. Companies that sign up for the 24-hour economy will enjoy smart metering calibrated to charge a lesser tariff per kilowatt hour for power that is consumed during off-peak hours at night time based on a time of use tariff system.
Jename pesa wotseno at a time of car say 24-hour economy no omo tamu free national development planning. Even in 2020, the People's Manifesto now page 105. I'm last me kind chairman. So the NDC, they have always had a plan for the nation, and the plan was to work within the plan of the nation. I'm repeating show. The NDC, they have always had a plan, and the plan was to work within the plan of Ghana. And working within the plan of Ghana is working within the National Development Plan. So because of Jandamunti in 2020 no na I was say tie in some na e manifesto na de Mahama heka no na ye te ye 4 more fanana e twi soroku 4 more fanana enye message 4 more fanana NC hospital 4 more fanana enye kwan 4 more fanana en fight dollar no 4 more fanana en stop corruption. The National Development Plan, no, it can stop corruption, it can create jobs, it will make sure that the economy is back on track, and we refuse to listen to that. Na ya man kwasiafo bi TV so ka kire say form of nana asechesing. And enkwasiafo fro asaba say your friend be signal breaking the 8, and no, it does not create jobs. It does not do what? Construct roads. It does not build hospitals. It does not make the economy resilient. So sometimes no see a tenacity. Na ye tie de nipa na eka no na ye nyan kwase anyoma na ye tie no because yakoma ya fi se enye ebusieni na epre akonwa enye ye party ni ye ntie de ebeboa Ghana. Now let's go into what is very important. Me too move from the beginning. Timer 2015 the whole Ghana, you're about together to put the the National Development Plan together. No, a committee was put together, and the person who was heading that committee was Professor Akosa. Now, that committee, they made it so open to the point where they called everybody in Ghana to come for us to reason before the National Development Plan is put together. And this was when John Mahama was president. Ain't for any to Professor Akosamo, they came together, they drafted it, and they said, we cannot keep this to ourselves. Let us share with Ghanaians, let us judge baby etosini. They opened up for people to come and do what? Discuss the National Development Plan 40 years. Because remember, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had a 40-year plan. And then who told who tamahabo, who meat factories, who shoe factories, and then who acquire Kesi, and then who come for not money at the idea. It was a plan that was there. Now, this is Professor Akosa, Muntiemi Yepa, Mebetrama Diebi, speaking on the National Development Plan.
Let me say that everything that Kofi has said can be situated in the 40-year development plan.
In fact, before I play Professor Akosa's statement, now there's this gentleman called Kofi Bentel. That day he was there, and Debbie Amikachiremo, so be better not TV so and not radio so. Now Okachira will say, oh, me neutral, me a CSO, those people, majority of them, in fact 90% of the people parading on TVs as analysts, as chairman of CSOs and whatever presidents, majority of them are liars. They are working for political parties. So when the National Development Plan was put together, somebody called Kofi Bentel, Imani, president, he came out and said a few things why he did not agree with the 40-year development plan. Remember, Kofi Bentel was very vocal when John Mahama was in power. In fact, time John Mahama was power, no, time all the demonstration, he was the one leading the demonstrations. You have seen Kofi Bentel. He's in Ghana today. He has led series of demonstrations under John Dramani Mahama's administration. What he tried to do, or what he sought to do, was to make people believe that John Mahama's administration, there was too much corruption. John Mahama's administration wasn't constructing any roads. John Mahama's administration wasn't building anything. They did not listen to Ghanaians. John Mahama's administration, there was doom. So he led a pack of young criminals who are political insects to destabilize the government's plan. Every single day, Kofi Bentel was leading group of people to fight and speak and say they are the most intelligent people, and that he was neutral. He wasn't an NPP member. He never liked the NPP. He never liked the NDC. He was speaking for Ghana. He was lying. The National Development Plan, which is 40 years, listen to Kofi Bentel. This is 2015. This is 2015. John Mahama was in power. We had put together a National Development Plan. This is Kofi Bentel's argument.
Simple, and my argument is that no, what we need is a plan. It's a national strategy for development. It must not be 40 years. It can be less, it can be effective, and it has to have other things that make us all rally behind it. It is easy to go for something like a 40-year development plan because we've had 58 or so years, and the biggest cry nationally is that we have not lived up to our expectations in terms of development. Because of that, we look for reasons. And everybody says, we need a long-term plan. Everybody must work into the long-term plan. Manifestos are not the way, etc. But we should be careful in running after the populist sentiment, not to repeat the mistakes that we've been making. So like he said, we've had many plans, 13 I've counted. We're a well-championed planner. After Kwame Nkrumah, nobody has been able to achieve any of those plans. Do we need another plan? If you want to solve the problem, as Professor will know as a medical person, you have to diagnose properly. The problem is not plans, it's bad leadership and a failure to follow through with the plans. Part of the reason why we don't follow through with these plans is because the plans are convoluted, they are wrongly couched. A couple of people enter a certain room, believe that a certain set of things are a problem, come up with a whole list of things that we must do and we will do, and they do whatever they want to do. When they are gone, it's gone with them. We should not repeat the same problem. What is a long-term plan anyway? A long-term plan does not have to be 40 years. We don't have 40 years to spend. It's okay to have a vision. Dreaming is free. But planning is where you apply intellect to put together a set of actionable decisions towards a particular goal. And I don't think we should spend time and resource going at it for a 40-year horizon. The problem with this whole idea of 40 years is that immediately somebody tells you I'm going to plan for 40 years, it gives you the idea that they have the wrong mindset. And that is where our problems start. There is something I call the envy list of Ghana. We have a series of countries that we always name when we want to talk about who has left us behind. We talk about Malaysia, we talk about Singapore, we talk about all those other people. And sometimes we include China, Korea, India. Here's an important point to note. They all have dreams. Some of them have 50-year dreams. China has something like a 100-year dream. But check, and thank God for Google, check again. Almost all of them, Korea, China, even today, have a series of 5-year development plans. After every 5 years, they go for the next 5, and then they go for the next 5, and then they go for the next 5. They have a dream. A dream is not a plan. We are purporting to proceed along the lines to craft a 40-year development plan. It is not feasible politically because our political system is not designed to take care of that. What we must change is the paradigm we're operating with, not the political system. It is not feasible economically because nobody can tell how the economy will be in 20 years. 20 years ago, we did not have WhatsApp, we did not have Facebook. 20 years ago, we did not have Twitter. 20 years ago, we did not have broadband in this level. Indeed, a granite seller in Techiman today has better technology than the US President Ronald Reagan had in his time. And that's just a few decades back. Because in this day and age, the pace of development is so fast that it's preposterous to try and reach beyond 20 years. People have tried, and if I have the time, I'll talk to you about some of the people who tried to dream beyond 10, 20 years and how wrong they were. So my point remains, 40-year development plan is not feasible. It's not practical to do. It's not necessary to do. That won't solve the problem because our problem is not planning. It's implementing the plan. And indeed, we can't reach into 40 years. We have presently, as we speak, existential problems confronting us. Existential because we don't deal with them, we would actually die. Just a few months ago, people died in this country because of cholera. What we need to do is to deal with these things because you know what? If your grandfather had planned your life and how you live it today, your idea of 3D will be watching Uncle Ebo. Okay? Your idea of communication will be posting letters. There is no way they could have contemplated WhatsApp and Twitter and all those things. So you don't want your grandfather to plan your life. What he has to do for you is set a solid foundation and a base upon which you will build. My grandchild does not want me to plan his life. What they want me to do is to set a solid base. We have a country that is struggling with water, with health, with education, with energy, with transport and telecommunications, and we are purporting to plan. I know you will hear things like, oh, the plan intends to have, all these things built in. The plan is going to be cyclical over a number of years and all that kind of thing. It is important if you are crafting a national plan to craft it in such simple and clear terms that it resonates with everybody, low or high. The way to do that is to make sure that national plan is simple but powerful. If you go out there today and you tell the average taxi driver that we are going to have a national plan, and this national plan is going to be for 40 years, and this national plan is going to achieve a number of things, and I'm going to read from the speech that President Mahama gave when he was launching this plan. These are the things that he said our national plan was going to achieve. He says it's going to make the economy transformative, inclusive, and resilient. It is going to make our society equitable and tolerant. This plan is designed to make our communities safe and sustainable, make them effective and efficient. If I want to communicate a national plan to somebody whose energies I want to release, I'm going to go like this. We will take 5 years of our time, and we are going to make sure that over the 5-year period, every town and village in Ghana has water. Everybody can go to the hospital. Every child in Ghana will be educated. Over that 5 years, these 3 things are going to be the things that we will focus on to transform this country. Everything else is going to work alongside it, but we will achieve this in 5 years. After the next 5 years, we're going to go on to deal with issues of energy, we'll deal with issues of transport and communications, fix our railways and everything, and we'll deal with issues of broadband so that you can send your text even if you're a farmer. Make it simple. Make it so simple that if somebody gets into a taxi at the airport, like we used to say about the Singaporeans, if you ask any taxi driver, they'll tell you the plan of Lee Kuan Yew. Any taxi driver will tell you that my government is planning for the next 5 years that my village will have water, our children will go to school, and we'll all make sure that we have enough of everything. That is fundamental.
This is Kofi Bento. And he was making some very interesting analysis and argument. My catch them was saying, TV so listen to them all. The grammar he's speaking did not make any sense. But hey, for them not to say you did your matem na ya mama Gana for say they have nothing better saying. In some other Kenyan I'll say, you see what he was trying to do? He was trying to substitute dream with plan. From the beginning of his argument, he decided to substitute dream with plan. So from what he's saying, in the 2023 year of our Lord, people in the United States are still